Hello, and welcome to a conversation with Mr. Howard Jones, presented by Pods and Sods. My name is Eric Miller. I'm your host. First off, I want to thank you for hitting the download button or the subscribe button or clicking the link or however you got here. Thanks for checking it out, and I hope you'll enjoy the episode. It was a real treat to talk to Howard. He's a sweet guy, charming, and just has tons of amazing work, not just in the early mid 80s, the sort of high watermark, if you will, the ones that everyone knows, but his career, has been ongoing, and he has some really great sort of latter day work, if you will, including a couple piano solo CDs and a new project that we talk about a bit called Engage, which is very interactive and, pretty inventive. He's sort of on that never-ending quest, if you will, to merge technology with his art, which we certainly get into. So without any further ado, enjoy this episode, a conversation with Mr. Howard Jones. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome Mr. Howard Jones. Welcome.
Hello, Eric. I'm great, thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to speak with me today. I want to jump into a bit of sort of background. Obviously, you've had a long and productive career in the music business, sort of primarily known as piano player. How did you first arrive at the piano?
Well, I don't think I am known mainly as a piano player. I'm known as synthesizer,
right,
and electronic music, really.
Right.
I think it comes as quite a surprise to people that I play piano. It certainly was when I did Live Aid in 1985. People were shocked that I played it at the piano, but
right.
Yeah. So piano is really the last thing people think of. I think with me.
Right. Maybe a keyboard player is more accurate, right?
Yeah.
So how did you come to the keyboards, let's say?
Well, I started having classical lessons when I was 7, and went to music college. Did 14 years of classical study.
Okay.
But I was playing in bands since I was 14, so it was, always classical music was a means to an end for me, and not the goal.
Right.
It was just to help with the rock music, really.
Right. So what were you listening to sort of in your formative years? What influenced you?
Obviously the first album that I got was Magical Mystery Tour, Beatles, and I was influenced by people like Blood, Sweat and Tears as well, who used, a bit of jazz influence and blues, and
right.
I loved Stevie Wonder, and I kind of liked all pop music and rock music. I don't think there's anything I didn't like. I used to, absorb it all and love it all.
Right. Yeah, around that time might have been like Kraftwerk or Tubular Bells, those kinds of things.
Tubular Bells I knew, I loved, and I played that a lot. Kraftwerk never interested me.
No?
No.
All right. How about vocally speaking? Were you sort of singing from the get-go?
Yeah, I mean Elton, people like Frank Sinatra,
right.
George Michael, probably one of the best singers of his era.
Right.
Stevie Wonder.
All right, so you.
I'm very into singers, so that's why I'm pausing, because I haven't been asked that very often.
Yeah, you get a lot of focus on, like I said, your keyboard work, but somewhere along the line you said, I want to be a singer too. So someone must have inspired that, right?
Yeah. Well, it was when I was putting together my the one man electronic show, and I really didn't have anybody around I was writing songs, but I didn't have anyone to sing them, so I just decided I was going to have to sing myself, and just to have to start doing it and work on it, and it just started there. I'd never felt that I was a natural singer. But when I started, I feel like that now. It comes naturally now, but it didn't start well.
Right. And that you mentioned sort of your one-man show. That's kind of what led to you getting signed, I guess, in '83 or so, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And I think really I was the first person to do that.
Okay.
I don't know of anyone else who was using stuff you could buy in the local store and doing a one-man show and like taking it around the world. And so I think I was the first person to do like that. I don't know if that's of any note or of any interest, but I think it's a fact.
Around that time period, I don't want to focus on it a whole lot because you have a lot of other things going on, but Humans Live was your debut, I suppose, and released in March of '84, and that hit really quickly. There was the 12-inch album in late '84, and then Dream Into Action in March '85. That's pretty quick out of the box pace. Was that like a whirlwind era for you? Any thoughts looking back on that?
Well, obviously, the first album was written by the time I got signed, so that was all ready to go. And then, in the momentum of having success from that first album, it was quite exciting to actually write in a hurry, to make the second album, which was Dream into Action, which was acting, the biggest album for me. So that was written on the road, in dressing rooms. I had a little studio with me, right. And really the whole album was written on the road. So it's got the energy of that, and also the knowledge that it probably will, at least people will give it a chance to hear it after the success of the first one.
Right.
So I think often, it's about, making great work often involves, having a bit of confidence and excitement as you're working.
Yeah, it's interesting because second album, oftentimes did you feel any pressure? Like, oh boy, I got to, excitement is a great word, but did you feel any pressure at all?
Yeah. I felt my own pressure. I did not want to for it to end.
Right.
After the first album, I really wanted it to, I wanted to carry on because I was really enjoying what I was doing, and so yes, the pressure was coming from me, to make sure that I kept things going.
Right. And you certainly, a lot of the songs that you wrote around that time certainly, were massive hits, but maybe more importantly is, they struck a powerful chord sort of emotionally with a broad audience.
Yeah.
So when you're writing some of those things, do you feel like, like, wow, like when you write like a No One Is to Blame,
yeah.
Do you sort of sit back and say, yes, I can't wait for it. Like this is a one. This is something people.
I know, absolutely. That's exactly. I'm totally writing it with the knowledge that it's going to be heard, and I'm very, very interested in what effect it has on me as I'm writing it, and then on people listening to it. So for instance, like music to me, it either has to make me cry as I'm writing it, or jump up and down, leap around, and dance. If it's another kind of vibe, and if it doesn't do that, then I don't pursue it. I don't finish it. I go on to something else. But it has to do that to me, and also it has to be going around in my head all night and all the next day, and it's got to be something I can't get out of my head.
Right.
So if it fulfills those criteria, then it goes out. Otherwise, it just stays as an idea.
You can look at the menu, but you just can't eat. You can feel the cushions, but you can't have a seat. You can dip your foot in the pool, but you can't have a swim. You can feel the punishment, but you can't commit the sin. And you want her, and she wants you. We want everyone. No one get lost in your water, and she wants you. We want everyone, and you want her, and she wants you. No one, no one, no one ever is to blame. You can see the summit, but you can't reach it. It's the last piece of the puzzle, but you just can't make it fit. Doctor says you're cured, but you still feel the pain. Aspirations in the clouds, but your hopes go down the drain. And you want her, and she wants you. We want everyone, and you want her, and she wants you. No one, no one, no one ever is to blame. No one ever is to blame. No one ever is to blame.
When you get inspiration around a song like that, and you say it's sort of stuck in your head, is there any part of you that thinks, have I heard this before? Because it's so good.
No, I'm pretty aware of similarities that might, that I might have picked up from somewhere else.
Right.
I'm pretty sure about that. I mean, if I'm writing something and I think to myself, oh, this sounds like this somebody else's record, I stop.
Right.
And I will go on. I'll just leave it and go on to another idea. So it's always, as far as I'm aware, in my own mind, it doesn't remind me of something else.
Right. Gotcha. Do you remember? Obviously your first hit out of the gate was a new song. Do you remember sort of the origins of that song specifically?
Yeah. I mean, the song was my manifesto. So I was working in a factory when I wrote that song. I was doing shows in the evening, with my one-man electronic show. But it was like I felt that I was getting to the point where I thought I was going to be able to leave the factory and do music full time and do what I really wanted to do, and I wanted to put that emotion into that first song, so that it was like saying to other people, well, if I can do it, so you can do it too.
Right.
So, and it's about not cracking up and not sort of becoming defeated by rejection and what other people are saying, and having an open mind about things and not being dogmatic about the way you live, and to liberate oneself from your fears and your preconceived notions of how things should be. So I really wanted to put that into a song, and that's where the energy comes from, really, with that one.
Right. Yeah, that sort of makes the video quite literal then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, literally. Yeah, it is. It is literal. Yeah. Except for the Rolls Royce.
Right.
That wasn't literal.
Right. Gotcha. How about
I was driving a Ford Transit van, I think.
There you go. It didn't look quite as glamorous in the video at the time, I suppose. Right? about a song like Life in One Day? Any memories about that one? How that one came together?
Well, it was around the time. It was one of the record company wanted me to write more tracks for Dream into Action, so I felt a bit under pressure to write that one, and Life in One Day really reflected my state of mind, in the sense that I had so much on. I was in the studio, I was touring, I was doing TV. I mean, literally every day, Christmas Day, every single day. So I did feel under pressure at that moment, and that song reflects that. Don't try and live your life in one day. Don't go speed your time away. And yeah, it was meant. It had to be an up track, that was optimistic and could work on the radio. So there's a bit of a conflict going on there, I think.
Right.
Yeah, but it turned out all right in the end.
Absolutely. Yeah, fantastic song. A lot of the themes in your songs, I guess, are positive, and I just sort of learned recently, and if you don't want to talk about this, that's fine, but I just learned recently that you have a strong Buddhist faith.
Yeah.
So these themes fit into that. Were you always on that path, or I guess maybe which came first?
Yeah. Well, I've always I started practicing Buddhism 22 years ago. So that was after I started my career and after I wrote a lot of those early songs. But it was obviously in my DNA to have that kind of positive outlook towards life. And it's been a real amazing thing for me, because I wouldn't be able to sing those songs now unless unless I still believed in the philosophy behind them. And I do. And so it's just made it even more, I don't know, focused for me, the fact that I practice Buddhism now, and Buddhism is very much about self, realizing that it's up to us how we view the world, and to really, develop ourselves so that we can always create valuable things from whatever happens to us. And as we know, terrible things can happen to any person, and they do happen, right. And we need to have that inner strength to be able to not be destroyed by events, but to come out of it even stronger and to actually create value from them. So I think that I was really trying to articulate that in those early songs, and hopefully I can explain it better now and be able to convey it even
right.
more articulately than I could then.
Right. Well, you even have a song that covers that topic very specifically, as I understand it. The song "You're the Buddha," kind of a later song.
Yes.
Which is a wonderful song, because it's not specifically. You're sort of delineating a bunch of faiths, right? We're all same, right?
Yes.
That's a wonderful message in that song.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to say in that song is that, like, we may have all kinds of different faiths, but let's all work together to make a peaceful world. That's what we want.
Right.
In our hearts, that's what we want. Let's work together on this. Whatever, whoever you are, whatever you philosophy or faith you follow, that's great. Let's work together.
Right. Yeah, it's an excellent message. Another song that in your catalog that always really stood out to me is from Ordinary Heroes, "Soon You'll Go."
Yeah.
That's sort of a deeply personal song. You want to talk about that one a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, it was very obviously. It was, I'm always thinking about what will be useful for people who listen to my work, and I was going through the situation where my daughter was leaving home, after 18 years to go to university, and it happened to be my daughter, but it could be anybody that we loved, dearly. The two emotions you feel: one, you're absolutely destroyed by the fact that they're not going to be around. They're going to be off doing their own thing.
Right.
And secondly, you're really pleased because they are starting their own life and their own independent life. There's these two conflicting things going on. And I wanted to try and get that over in a song so that people could maybe just play it to their daughters or to their sons or to their, people that they love. Because I see it as your duty and obligation as a songwriter to spend the time to articulate those things,
right,
so that people can, who aren't poets and who aren't, songwriters, but they can play that to somebody to convey how they really feel. And I had so many people say that to me that they did that, and I felt really so happy about that, because that's my job done. I'm doing that's the job, that's the role that I would love to fulfill.
Soon you go, you make your mark. Soon you go, taking my heart. Soon you soar into the sky, and I'll be there to watch you fly. Tiny fingers clutching tightly round the edge of the bed, wouldn't listen to a single word your mother said. I remember how you forced yourself to stay awake, to hear my footsteps when I came home late. These things I will hold on to when I can't hold on to you. Soon you go, you make your mark. Soon you go, taking my heart. Soon you soar into the sky, and I'll be there to watch you fly. Wrote your name in giant letters, scratched them into the wall, trying to reach us when you couldn't quite express it all. Made a protest we would notice, and the motive was clear. Now I understand it looking back across the years. These things I will hold on to when I can't hold on to you. Soon you go, you make your mark. Soon you go, taking my heart. you fly, to watch you fly.
You know, 18 is that age where, you know, or teenagers, that's the age where there's nothing your parents can do that would be cool. Like, when you played that for your daughter, did she think like, "Oh, Dad, come on," or did she? What kind of reception?
No. We both cried together.
Nice.
We both cried together.
Nice.
It was a lovely moment.
Lovely. That's awesome. Yeah, and it's a real powerful song because it's, and you've done this a bunch in your career. You know, you sort of go back to, you know, I use the word piano from the get-go because that is the core for me, and that's sort of you know, an acoustic song with a string quartet, and you know, it certainly adds to the power of that song. So you mentioned earlier on about sort of on the world stage playing a piano at Live Aid. Any memories about that? You played one song on Freddie Mercury's piano, which that's got to be incredible.
Yeah. It was really, you know, a very scary gig to do. Probably not for some of the artists there who'd had way more experience of that size of event than me. So, you know, I mean, it was terrifying. You know, you know, David Bowie, you know, the Who, you know, all these amazing, iconic superstars are doing the show, and I'm coming out on my own, you know, jet lagged to play a song at the piano. But, you know, I got through the first verse, and then the audience joined in with the chorus, and that really was the moment where it all suddenly went really well, and I felt really supported by those amazing people in the audience. And so really after that I kind of was enjoying it from then on. But it was like being carried, you know, by them. They sort of really gave me such great confidence, you know, and it was. I won't ever forget that. Actually, it was one of those things that was burnt into the memory, and very special.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. It's
I wonder if it's, you know, I wonder if it's all the adrenaline that's pumping through your brain that means that certain memories are really deeply embedded in you, and they don't ever go. I wonder if it's something to do with the chemistry of memory.
Maybe. Do you watch it back, and can you recreate that feeling a bit when you watch the clip?
I mean, I've seen the clip a couple of times, but I can run it in my head more accurately.
Right.
You know,
right.
from my position, I can you know, really see it all and hear it from that. You know, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the beat goes on. Will you welcome Howard Jones?
Hello. It's a great pleasure to be here with you today, sharing this experience. Hello to everyone who's watching at home and listening at home as well. Just going to do a little song at the piano. And I'd really appreciate it if you'd help me out on the chorus bits. Are you gonna? Thank you. Time when there was nothing at all, nothing at all, just an instant was a being, and he lived on his own. He had no one to talk to and nothing to do. He drew up the plans, learned to work with the sand.
everything that you see. Hope you find it in everything that you see. Hope you find it. Hope you find it. Hope you find you. She had built her elaborate home with its ups and its downs, its rain and its sun. She decided that her work it was done. Time to have fun, not a game to play. Then as part of the game, she completely forgot where she did it herself and just spent the rest of her time trying to find the parts. Can you sing with me? I hope you find it in everything that you see. In everything that you see. Hope you find it. Hope you find it. Hope you find me, you. One more. Hope you find it. Everything that you see. Everything that you see. Hope you find it. Hope you find it.
Thank you very much indeed.
Awesome. So moving on, one of the things I guess you're sort of known for, I guess, is the technology and the use of technology and being a pioneer in terms of sequencers and drum machines and things like that.
Yeah.
Sort of having said that, how has your relationship with technology, with respect to music, evolved over the past 30 plus years?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to remember what it is, and it's a tool. It isn't the music; it's a tool.
Right.
And just like I mean, if Beethoven was born in our time, he would be using a Mac, wouldn't he? Let's face it, he would
Right.
be. He'd be. So it's good to remember that it's a tool, and it's not, it isn't the music. Still, it's about the human invention and message and organization of the sound that is the important thing. I'm sure people understand that. I mean, in fact, they probably understand it better now than they did when I started, because now people who've got GarageBand have probably had a go at trying to create a song and realize that it's not very easy.
Right.
And it's certainly not very easy to write a song that can be played on the radio. So in a way, it's highlighted the fact that actually it is about the art and the craft and the mind behind it that that makes it that makes people want to listen to it over and over and again, over again.
Right.
So as easy as technology has made it to make a sound, to make a great sound, to make it really do what it's supposed to do, that's another thing.
Right.
In the same way, I mean, for my analogy is, is the piano. I mean, I can sit down and play the piano to you, it's taken. I've been playing it since I was 7, and I put, years of my life into doing that. And so the piano is a piece of technology, but it's the thought and the effort that goes in behind it to make it sound beautiful. Anybody can sit down and press those keys and make a really horrible sound.
Right.
But then somebody can come along and bring you to tears with it. You know what I mean? So it's always. I just hope people do understand that.
Right.
At the end of the day, technology on its own, it's a tool.
I guess this has probably been an ongoing lack of understanding on that. Like you said earlier on, or nowadays, maybe people understand that more. But we also live in a world of auto tuning, which is,
Yes.
that's a whole thing onto it. So how do you feel about that in sort of modern plays?
That's fine. I mean, if you have a great singer who one night in the studio, and you've got to think, to get a great performance out of somebody, they need to be in absolutely the right frame of mind. They need to be really sharp and feeling joyful and great to give a great performance.
Right.
And say they, a couple of notes. They sang a couple of bum notes in that performance. Well, you can fix it with auto tune. Now, and so it's just again, it's a tool, and at this time people like things to be in tune. But there will be another time when people don't care about that anymore, or go back to the old days when they just didn't even hear it,
right?
when it was out of tune. But what's interesting is why are there so many young kids who are such great singers now? And one of the reasons is they hear records that are perfectly pitched, and they emulate that, and they get it right. And so they start from this new position where their singing is like way better than people, at entry level would have started off. Anyway, I mean, I'm probably going off topic a bit, but it's just like whatever, like things in themselves aren't good or bad. It's just how they're used.
Right.
Right. It's always like that. It's like, you could use an oboe to club somebody to death, or you could play this beautiful tune that would haunt them for the rest of their life and inspire them to create great art. You know what I mean? It's like that's where I'm coming from.
Right.
It's not the stuff itself.
Right.
It's the way you use it.
Right. I gotcha. And thanks for the visual of an oboe. I'll never see an oboe the same way again. I just sort of had one sort of follow-up question about technology. So, you've always been exuberant about using it in your work as a tool, as you've said. Yeah. Do you ever get? Yeah. Is there ever paralysis of choice because there's just so much?
Yeah. Oh yes, you really have to be disciplined about that. You have to set yourself some parameters before you launch into something new. Otherwise, you will be overwhelmed by choice, as you say.
Right.
So, okay, I'm going to do this record, but I'm going to only use these instruments or this genre-specific sounds or sounds from the 90s or whatever it is you devise and then stick to that. Like for instance, with Ordinary Heroes, I did string quartet, piano, guitar, bass, drums, and backing vocal. That's it, nothing else.
Right.
Well, there was a choir on one of them songs. You have to break the rules sometimes, but stick to a plan, and then you can then make that work. Within that.
Right. Your new project is, continuing that theme of marrying, technology to your art, which is Engage. Yeah. Can you sort of describe the development of the concept?
I was thinking that really, I'm not sure people are that interested in having recorded music anymore. It's okay, but there's not the excitement that you used to be when we were making CDs or vinyl in the old days. But what does excite people is going to a live event and a live performance. People really, really get excited about that, and they talk about it and they tell their friends, and it's a big deal. And and I was thinking, well, what's the difference? Well, now you can just download something in 5 seconds and it sits on your desktop. It's just not. There's no effort involved.
Right.
If you go to a gig, you have to be there. You have to get there on time. You have to give your attention. You have to pay for the ticket. You have to, there's a whole set of efforts that you have to make, and that is why people love, it helps to really love it. So I thought, right, I'm not going to write an album. I'm going to design a live event.
Right.
And really that's what Engage is. So it's visual, it's music, it's philosophy, there's an app that goes with it. So it's really trying to shift the emphasis towards live rather than, easy.
Right. And the shows have interactive elements, right? In terms of the app and things.
Yeah, that's right. If people can actually we can broadcast clips to their phone that reflect what's going on visually on the stage, and also there's scrolling text as part of it. Also, we can control the flashing light, the flashlight on the phone, so that can be activated at certain times to give. And I've got a whole bunch of ideas about how we can use it in the future as well to incorporate it in the actual music of the show. So this is really very much the start of that, and I'm envisaging just really developing it into something amazing in the future.
Right. And you're sort of doing that at choice gigs or choice venues, because I imagine is that easy to implement, or?
Well, actually running doing the stuff with the app is really easy. Yeah, it's absolutely easy. You just broadcast it from an iPad. But the show, I'm probably do 6 of them. The last one will be in New York on the 18th, and then it'll be mothballed until some time in the future. But because it's 2 projectors and a scrim, and it's a big deal to put the show on.
Right.
And I'll just bring it back when it's called for in the future.
Or when technology gives you a new idea, and you'll have Engage 2.0, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of which, in your catalog you have piano solos, right? Which is, sort of the flip side of it, which is just stripped down. And any chance that Piano's number 3 is coming?
Well, I am. If I have time, I will.
Right.
I do enjoy doing that, actually. It's just having the time. I'm working on songs for films at the moment, and I specific films, and so my head is tied up with that. But I'm sure there'll be a moment where I can do a bunch of piano solos again, because I love doing it.
Yeah, they're really excellent. So aside from Engage and being on the road and the film scores, anything else sort of on the docket in the future that you want to, mention?
Well, I hope to have a new album ready for next year, and it's going to be songs, some of these film songs I'm doing, and when I have an idea about writing for a certain scene or something like that, it seems to flow very well. So I'm going to do a whole bunch of those, and then I'm going to attack the second part. Engage is the first part of a 4-part 10-year plan. So the next thing is going to be an orchestral project that is part of that. So it'll be new work and revisiting some of my favourite songs that work well with an orchestra. So that's going to be part 2.
Wow.
And then I've got and then another and then stuff. I haven't really thought too far ahead of that, but that's what's next.
Right. Wow. Sounds excellent. So just one sort of final, maybe humorous question. After decades of touring, do you have any sort of Spinal Tap like anecdotes you'd care to share from the road?
Well, I have a literal Spinal Tap thing, which was I can't remember where I was now. typical. I can't remember where.
We'll just say
and,
we'll say Cleveland because it's appropriate for Spinal Tap, right?
Yes, and the band had gone up to the stage and they'd started, and I was just getting, finally ready to come on, and I could not find the right door out of the dressing room, and they honestly they went on and on and on with the intro, and there's just no me. I can't find my way out. Just there was about 10 doors in the dressing room. I kept trying them all, and they didn't seem to lead anywhere. And eventually, the tour manager came down and found me and guided me to the stage. But it literally was, a Spinal Tap moment. I mean, yeah.
That's great. And you're probably half, laughing at the ridiculousness of the situation, and half, oh, I got to get out there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you go into a panic,
Right.
You do.
Classic.
Start to sweat a bit.
Well, Howard, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me, and thanks for writing so many wonderful songs that people have enjoyed and will continue to enjoy. It's been a real honor to speak with you, and again, thank you for the visual of murdering somebody with an oboe. I'll never forget that.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, it's been a real pleasure speaking to you, Eric. So
people can find you on howardjones.com is the website, right? Anything else?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Well, best of luck
Okay.
on the tour and in the new projects, and I'll catch you down the road.
Okay. Thanks very much, Eric.
Thanks.
Cheers. All the best.
We're not scared to lose it all. Security cut through the wall. Future dreams we have to realize. 1,000 skeptic hands won't keep us from the things we plan, unless we're clinging to the things we prize. And do you feel scared? But I won't stop and falter. And if we throw it all away, things can only get
hope you enjoyed that chat with Howard. Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. You can subscribe to Pods and Sods on iTunes. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Pods Sods. You can also find us on our blog, which is Pod Sodcast at blogspot.com, where we have episodes posted pretty much weekly, sometimes several times a week. We're sort of trying out some new things with team episodes and solo episodes and just all kinds of stuff. So I hope you'll check that out. And, in closing, I like to leave you with a clip that isn't particularly relevant to this conversation, but it's just a message that I happen to really enjoy, and I like to perpetuate it into the cosmos whenever I can, and that would be some fine words from Mr. Bill Hicks. Thanks again.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride. And we kill those people. Shut him up. We have a lot invested in this ride. Shut him up. Look at my furrows of worry. Look at my big bank account and my family. Has to be real. It's just a ride. But we always kill those good guys who try and tell us that. You ever notice that? And let the demons run amok? But it doesn't matter, because it's just a ride. And we can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money. A choice right now between fear and love. The eyes of fear want you to put bigger locks on your door, buy guns, close yourself off. The eyes of love instead see all of us as one. Here's what we can do to change the world right now to a better ride. Take all that money we spend on weapons and defense each year and instead spend it feeding, clothing, and educating the poor of the world, which it would many times over, not one human being excluded, and we can explore space together, both inner and outer, forever in peace.